Welcome to the training session, Seeing Success, Visual Supports to Promote Positive Behavior in Early Childhood Programs. This training session will explore how visual aids can transform your classroom management and enhance children's social emotional development. Visual supports are powerful, accessible tools that bridge communication gaps and foster positive behavior among young children. You will learn to use various visual strategies to clearly convey routines, expectations, and boundaries in your setting. This session is aimed to empower you with practical techniques to reduce frustration and support every learner, including those with diverse needs. This session will also discuss how to develop visual supports that are culturally responsive and developmentally appropriate. Whether you are new to visual supports or you want to refine your skills, you will find valuable guidance in this session. This training is made possible by the Kentucky Governor's Office of Early Childhood. This training session has 4 main learning objectives. First, you will learn to identify different types of visual supports and understand their role in promoting communication and positive behavior. Second, the session will highlight how visual supports can help children comprehend routines, manage transitions smoothly, and internalize behavioral expectations. The third objective is to develop your ability to select and utilize specific visual supports tailored to your own classroom's unique needs. Lastly, you will gain practical skills for creating and using visual supports that honor children's developmental levels and cultural backgrounds. By the end of this session, you should feel confident in integrating these tools into your daily practices to foster a positive, supportive learning environment. Keep these objectives in mind as the training progresses, and consider which areas resonate most with your current challenges and experiences. Visual supports serve as an essential bridge in early childhood classrooms because young children are developing listeners and communicators. Many children process visual information more easily than words, especially during moments of stress or transition. Visual cues cut through the noise and confusion, providing clear, consistent reminders of expectations and routines. When children can see what's expected, they are less likely to feel overwhelmed or confused. This sense of clarity helps reduce challenging behaviors that are rooted in miscommunication. Visual supports also level the playing field for children with language delays, dual language learners, or developmental differences. Visual supports introduce predictability and security into daily routines. For teachers, these tools lessen the need for constant verbal instructions and reminders, which can help maintain a calm, positive atmosphere. Ultimately, visual supports enable all children to participate more fully and independently in classroom life. Take a look at this visual support. How would this support be improved? Remember, children in early childhood settings can't read words. The best way to use a classroom helper's visual support in your program would be to include pictures of the children on their hands, as well as pictures of the helper jobs on each envelope to make the connection between what the job is and the words. Visual supports are tangible or digital visuals, like pictures, symbols, photos, objects, or written words that help communicate information. They serve as reminders or cues about what is happening, what is expected, or what comes next. Some common examples include picture schedules, choice boards, rule posters, and first then boards. For young children, especially those who are not yet reading, these visual tools make complex ideas concrete and accessible. It is important to remember that effective visual supports are clear, simple, and consistently used by all caregivers in the environment. Both whole group and individualized supports can be beneficial depending on children's needs. Visual supports are invaluable for children with special needs, but benefit every child by making communication multimodal and reducing misunderstandings. Throughout this session, you will see a variety of visual supports in action so you can imagine how they might fit in your own space. Visual supports come in many shapes and forms, tailored to children's developmental stages and classroom demands. The most common types include visual schedules, which are step-by-step pictorial timelines of the day's events, choice boards, which are visual representations of available activities or items which supports decision making, behavior charts, visual reminders of behavioral rules and expectations, sometimes paired with reward systems, first then boards, simple two-step visuals that clarify what comes first and what will follow, perfect for supporting transitions, social stories, sequences of pictures illustrating appropriate social behaviors or routines, and task analysis boards, breaking down complex tasks into manageable visual steps. Understanding these categories will help you decide which tools best match your students' needs and your teaching style. Throughout the training, we will take a closer look at each of these supports. Visual schedules are one of the most important visual supports to implement in early childhood settings. These schedules use pictures, photos, or symbols to depict the sequence of activities throughout the day. For children, especially those who struggle with transitions or have trouble remembering routines, visual schedules provide constant, accessible reminders of what is coming next. This predictability eases anxiety and helps children self-regulate. A visual schedule can be posted on the wall for the group or provided in smaller, portable forms for individual children. When using visual schedules, remember to review the sequence at the start of the day and refer back to it during transitions. Allowing children to actively participate, such as moving schedule cards as activities end, further increases engagement and independence. Visual schedules benefit all children, but are especially crucial for those with autism spectrum disorder, ADHD, or anxiety. Consistency is key to their effectiveness. First then boards are a simple but powerful visual support for helping children understand what is expected now and what will happen next. This is especially helpful for children who find transitions challenging. The board typically displays two pictures. The first showing the required or less preferred activity, and the second showing the reward or the preferred activity that will follow. For example, first, clean up toys, then play outside. This approach reduces resistance and anxiety as children learn that a preferred activity comes after following directions or completing a task. First then boards support self-motivation and build executive function skills by clarifying sequences and expectations. These visuals can be individualized and easily adapted for use throughout the day, in both group and one-on-one contexts. Keep the images simple, familiar, and immediately relevant for the best results. Social stories are sequential visual guides that outline appropriate social behaviors and routines using language and images children can understand. Social stories help children prepare for new experiences, manage emotions, and learn positive behaviors by walking through scenarios step by step. For example, a social story might depict what happens and how to behave during snack time, using both pictures and simple descriptive sentences. Creating personalized social stories with photos of the actual classroom and children make them even more relatable. These supports are especially powerful for children with social communication challenges, language delays, or anxiety about new experiences. Social stories are best used proactively to preview upcoming events or reinforce positive behavior patterns rather than only in response to negative behaviors. The ultimate goal is to build the child's social understanding and confidence. Visual reminders of classroom rules and expectations help children internalize positive behaviors and make the classroom a safer, more predictable place. These can take the form of posters with images showing walking feet, listening ears, or gentle hands. Using positive, clear visuals keeps guidance concrete and non-punitive. When a child needs a reminder, you can simply point to or gesture toward the visual, rather than raising your voice or repeating yourself. For nonverbal or limited English-speaking children, these cues are invaluable for keeping them engaged and accountable. Visual cues should be displayed at the child's eye level and referenced frequently. Incorporate culturally responsive images where possible so every child feels seen and respected within your expectations. Here are some examples of visual rules. On the left-hand side, these visual rules help children understand what the expectations are in the dramatic play center. I can cook, I can dress up, I can take care, I can pretend, I can talk to my friends. On the right-hand side, we have use our walking feet inside, use quiet voices, keep our hands to ourselves, treat others with kindness. Some classroom routines, like hand washing or cleaning up, can be broken down into smaller, clear steps with a task analysis board. These visual sets depict each stage in the sequence, ensuring that children of all abilities can participate successfully. For example, a hand washing board may show turn on the water, get soap, scrub hands, rinse, and dry. Task analysis boards foster independence, support children with executive function difficulties, and help teachers monitor progress. Step-by-step visuals are especially powerful for children with developmental delays or learning differences. These boards can be laminated for durability and posted near the activity. Encourage children to refer to the boards as reminders, which supports the development of self-regulation and autonomy. Visual timers are another helpful support for managing transitions, wait times, or turn taking. Children often struggle with the concept of time, leading to frustration when asked to wait. Tools like sand timers, colorful countdown clocks, or even visual apps on tablets allow children to see time passing. When children can visualize how much time they have left in an activity, or before it's their turn, anxiety and behavioral issues often decrease. Timers can be paired with verbal cues. When the sand runs out, it's time to clean up. This provides additional clarity. Portable visual timers are great for smaller groups, while larger wall-mounted timers are helpful during group routines. Consistent use of visual timers can help build children's patience and flexibility, which are crucial skills for later learning. Visual supports are invaluable in classrooms with diverse learners, including children with disabilities, dual language learners, and those experiencing social emotional challenges. For children on the autism spectrum, visuals can reduce anxiety, support processing differences, and enable participation in group routines. For dual language learners, visual cues help bridge language gaps, making expectations and routines clear without relying solely on spoken English. Visually representing tasks and behaviors makes learning more accessible for children who may struggle with attention or memory. These supports can also foster greater independence and self-advocacy. By using visuals, you create an environment that supports equity and inclusion, ensuring every child can access the curriculum and thrive. The biggest advantages of visual supports is how effectively they reduce frustration and minimize challenging behaviors. When young children can anticipate what will happen next or understand what's being asked of them, they feel in control and safe. Behavioral issues often stem from unclear expectations or difficulty transitioning between activities. Visual supports clarify routines, rules, and steps, eliminating much of the guesswork that can lead to escalations. Through consistent use, these tools empower children to take ownership of their actions, reducing power struggles and the need for repeated verbal reminders. Teachers find that with visuals in place, the overall classroom environment becomes calmer and more positive. For children prone to outbursts, the safety net provided by visuals can be transformative. Before introducing visual supports, it's vital to assess the needs of your classroom and individual children. Take time to observe which routines, transitions, or expectations seem challenging for your group or for specific children. Are there patterns during the day when more support is needed? Some children may need individual visual schedules, while others benefit from whole class reminders. Also, consider each child's language abilities, cultural background, and developmental level. It's important to collaborate with families to learn what supports may work best or what visuals are already familiar. Careful observation and open communication ensure that your visual supports are purposeful and tailored for maximum effectiveness. Visual supports should match not only the need, but also children's developmental stages and abilities. For infants and toddlers, object cues or real photos may be most meaningful, as they closely relate to daily experiences. Preschoolers may understand simple drawings, symbols, or a combination of pictures and words. For older children or those who are beginning readers, written labels paired with visuals can promote early literacy. Digital formats, such as tablet apps, can be used for some children, but be mindful of screen time limits for young learners. Choose visuals that are clear, age-appropriate, and familiar to the children. Using real classroom objects in your photos is a great way to personalize supports. Regularly review and adjust visuals as children's skills and needs grow. Creating your own visual supports doesn't require expensive materials or advanced technology. Printable icons and symbols are widely available online, and using a digital camera or smartphone, you can quickly make custom supports with real photos. Laminating your visuals extends durability, making them easy to clean and reuse. Simple materials like cardstock, tape, Velcro, magnets, or binder rings can help create portable or interactive boards. Don't hesitate to get creative. Use objects, fabric, or textured materials for children who benefit from multi-sensory input. Store your visuals in an organized way so they're always accessible. Collaboration with therapists, families, or other teachers can provide additional insight and resources for developing effective, meaningful visuals. Visual supports are most effective when implemented with consistency and through modeling. Teachers and caregivers should introduce and explain each new visual, demonstrating how to use it during actual routines or transitions. Regularly refer to visuals throughout the day, not just at the start or when problems arise. Model for children how to use them independently. Over time, many children will reference visuals on their own. You can involve all classroom staff in using and maintaining visual supports, ensuring a unified approach for children. Consistency creates trust and reliability, making visuals a dependable part of the learning environment. As children internalize routines and expectations through repeated exposure, the need for adult prompts generally decreases. Whenever possible, engage children directly in creating and updating visual supports. Allowing children to help photograph classroom activities or assemble their own schedule cards gives them a sense of ownership and agency. This involvement makes the visuals more meaningful and increases children's buy-in. Discussing the visuals together can also provide language and social emotional learning opportunities. You can ask children what they see, what comes next, or how a certain rule keeps everyone safe. Rotating visuals as routines change or letting children choose new images fuels continued interest and investment. Ultimately, when children are part of the process, visual supports become living, evolving tools rather than static classroom decorations. Cultural responsiveness is crucial while visuals must be clear and simple, they should also be developmentally appropriate. For infants and toddlers, object cues like holding up a diaper for a diaper change may work best. As language skills grow, you can transition to photos, simple drawings, or paired picture word cards. Encourage children who show interest to match images or sequence cards, building early cognitive and literacy skills. Be mindful of not overloading visuals. Too many images on a board can be confusing for young children. Choose colors, images, and complexity that fit the abilities of your group, adapting as they develop. Regular review helps ensure your supports are always meeting children at their current stage. Visual supports don't have to stop at the classroom door. Sharing visuals with families can foster consistency and positive behavior at home and in other settings. For example, send a copy of your classroom's visual schedule home or collaborate with families to develop visuals that support morning and bedtime routines. Many families appreciate simple first then boards or behavioral reminders that can be used during tricky moments like getting dressed or leaving the playground. Always check in with families to ensure visuals make sense and are respectful of home cultures and languages. Bridging visual supports between home and school creates a more seamless, supportive network for everyone. Visual supports are highly effective for teaching emotional regulation. Feeling faces, charts, or regulation zones help children identify their emotions and select calming strategies. Offering a visual menu of self-regulation choices, such as hug a stuffed animal, squeeze a ball, or read a book, empowers children during moments of stress. Regular practice of emotional check-ins with visuals normalizes big feelings and reduces stigma. For children who struggle with self-control or impulsivity, having a go-to visual is a nonverbal cue to pause and check in. These supports promote greater self-awareness, language development, and coping skills, all foundational for later success. Visual supports are most impactful when embedded throughout daily routines and not just reserved for moments of challenge. Incorporate them into morning arrivals, cleanup times, transitions between centers, and group or individual instruction. You can post visuals all around the classroom. Use portable visuals during field trips or outdoor play, keeping support accessible outside the classroom. You can embed discussion of visuals into songs, stories, or circle time to deepen children's understanding and engagement. A full integration of visuals makes expectations and supports feel like an organic, seamless part of classroom life. Visual supports are not just tools for routines. They are an essential part of positive guidance strategies. Instead of using punitive measures, visuals allow adults to redirect and remind children in a supportive, relationship-centered way. Pointing to a visual rule can help diffuse escalating situations, while choice boards and first-then charts give children more autonomy and predictability. The tone of guidance shifts from correction to coaching, supporting children's sense of competence. Positive guidance is at the heart of social-emotional learning, and visual aids empower children to make pro-social choices more independently. Over time, children internalize these cues and require fewer reminders, showing true behavioral growth. While visual supports are highly effective, you may face some initial challenges. For example, children may ignore new visuals at first, or some staff may forget to reference them consistently. Start small, introduce one visual at a time, and build from there. Practice using visuals consistently, both yourself and with fellow caregivers. For children who may be resistant at first, involve them in creating or updating visuals to increase their engagement. If language or culture is a barrier, ask families for input or adapt visuals as needed. Remember, it's completely normal for any new system to take time before it feels routine. You can celebrate small successes as you go. Every child is unique, so individualized visual supports can make all the difference. Some children may need their own personal schedule, first-then boards, or social stories, especially if they are struggling with specific routines. Individualization might also mean adjusting images for clarity or using actual photos of the child engaging in an activity. Some may need added tactile elements like Velcroed pieces to make visual supports interactive. Work closely with therapists, families, and any specialists to develop a refined, individualized support system. Document which supports are most effective for each child, and then revisit these strategies as children grow and change. Regular evaluation is crucial to ensure that visual supports continue to meet the needs of your classroom and individual children. Observe how children respond. Are there fewer meltdowns, smoother transitions, or greater independence? Gather feedback from co-teachers and families about what's working well and what could be improved. Always check that visuals are age-appropriate, culturally relevant, and in good repair. If a visual support is not effective, don't hesitate to adapt it. Try new images, a new location, or different methods of use. Always document successes and challenges and share strategies within your teaching community. Ongoing evaluation creates a responsive, supportive environment for continued growth. Working in partnership with families and specialists enhances the effectiveness of visual supports. Families can provide insight into the child's needs, preferences, and cultural contexts. Specialists such as speech therapists, occupational therapists, or behavior interventionists can offer resources, recommendations, or even co-create individualized visuals. Regular communication through meetings, emails, or daily reports ensures alignment and consistency across home and classroom. Sharing successes and challenges invites families and specialists to actively participate in problem solving. Collaboration leads to more robust supports and strengthens relationships, all of which benefit the child's overall growth and well-being. Seeing the impact of visual supports in real classrooms truly illustrates their value. For example, in one preschool, a visual schedule significantly reduced meltdowns during transitions. Children began reminding each other what came next. In another setting, a choice board helped a nonverbal child communicate snack preferences, leading to fewer upset times and greater participation. A social story about circle time helped a child with autism spectrum disorder join group activities with increasing confidence. Each of these examples shows that even small, everyday tools can have profound impacts. Collect and share your own success stories with colleagues and families. It spreads inspiration and practical ideas. As we approach the end of this training session, let's consider concrete next steps. Start by identifying one area or routine in your classroom that could benefit from a visual support. Perhaps a tricky transition or a challenging behavior. Gather input from co-teachers and families and choose a visual format that best fits your group. Create or adapt a simple visual support for this routine, introducing it to the children with clear explanations and modeling. Monitor how the children respond and make adjustments as needed. Gradually expand your use of visuals across the day, documenting successes and challenges. Remember, small changes can yield big results over time. Many resources are available for educators looking to create effective visual supports. There are many online websites, community forums, and social media groups that can be great places to share inspirational ideas and templates with other teachers. Your local library or community agencies may have materials that you can borrow. You may be able to collaborate with your school's therapy teams or families to access additional picture sets or language experts. Continuing education classes or workshops often focus on visual supports too. Leverage these resources to save time and tailor supports to your unique classroom needs. As we end, I hope you leave this training session with new understanding and practical skills to promote positive behavior using visual cues in your program. Remember, creating an environment rich in visuals is an ongoing collaborative process. Each step you take has the power to make your classroom more inclusive and supportive for every child. Thank you for your dedication to nurturing lifelong learners. Let's work together to continue seeing and celebrating success for all children.